Hey guys, so today you're going to be making the skull for your rug project. So that pattern paper that we did and that we're coloring with crayons and then going over with watercolor, we're going to add a cow skull over top. So that's what you're going to make today while I am out. So everyone should have this part finished by the end of the period today, okay? And you'll turn it into the sub. When you're done, make sure your name is on the back because they all tend to look the same, okay? So you're going to get a white piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half hamburger way. And then everyone should be able to have one of these reference sheets from the front table that has some pictures of skulls. Okay, so they should be two-sided, one on the front, one on the back. And you might want to fold it in half because that makes it easier to see just half of the skull, which is what we're doing. So I have the fold on the right side, so I'll flip this to make the fold go on the right side also. And I'm going to just look at this outline of the skull to make the skull on my own paper, okay? So it doesn't have to be exact, and you want to make it as big as you can. So you want your horns to go all the way over to the other side of the paper. And then you are going to continue with just the outline. Like I said, it doesn't have to look the same. But be careful it's not getting too skinny here because when we cut it in half or when we cut it out, you don't want that part to be too narrow. So now we're going to cut on the line with our scissors, and you should be cutting at the fold because that is how we're going to make a symmetrical skull, kind of like when you make a heart on Valentine's Day. You unfold it and it's symmetrical, same on both sides. So we're going to cut it out and unfold it. If it's not perfect, that's fine because we can flip it over so that we don't see the pencil lines on the other side. Or if you change your mind as you're cutting and cut something else, that is okay. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that extra paper and we're going to unfold our skull so that we have a symmetrical skull. And everyone's is going to look a little bit different based on how you drew it. Okay, so when you open this, you'll see your skull next to the examples of the skull. So we have this one that's just kind of an outline, and we have this one that's a little bit more shaded. You decide what kind you want to make, and you're going to use these charcoal pencils and blending stumps. So these orange charcoal pencils, some of them look more like this, but be careful not to pull the string because the pencils will unravel like this, and then they're ruined. And make sure you are sharpening these charcoal pencils only with handheld sharpeners. Okay, and then these blending sticks, there's some thin ones and there's some thick ones. It's your preference. Just make sure you're not peeling those for them to come apart. And all you're going to do is add the features. So on my skull, I want to add the eye sockets. I want to add these lines where the cracks are in the skull, where the skull comes together. And like I said, it does not have to be exact. You can kind of make it up on your own. But you want the main features like the eyes, eye sockets, the nasal cavity here, and you want details in the horns. So once you've kind of drawn it with that charcoal pencil, you can use this blending stick to kind of blend it together and soften up your dark lines a little bit. The blending sticks make everything look better. Charcoal makes everything look better. So you can soften up your lines a little bit with that. And you can also drag the charcoal out a little bit with the blending stick to add more value. So not everything is just black and white. So you'll go through and you'll finish your skull today, shading, adding those major features like the eye sockets, the nasal cavity. And when you're done, you will have a finished skull. So this is what yours should look like with some different shading. It doesn't necessarily have to have an outline, but you'll make sure you put your name on the back and then you'll turn it into the sub so that we can glue it together when I come back on Thursday.